The Fly Fifer and Just Another Monkey podcast. Talk is cheap. Let's talk.
This episode is sponsored by J. Couriers.
The people who care for your delivery.
Shahursa, welcome to another Fly Fifer podcast. And what a fucking morning it's been. This is the second t-shirt, third pair of jeans today, because I blew up the coffee for my compadre who's joining us here today. We have Alan, aka Just Another Monkey. That's why the jingle's in that position. And I'll wait on it coming back. Oh, are we going? Oh, she's went off fancy all over the room. And we are sitting with Kasia, who I know very little about. Oh, so there now. I know very little about Kasia, because Kasia, am I pronouncing that right,
yes,
first of all?
Yes, very well. Very professional.
Yeah, good. Kasia actually approached the podcast with a story to tell. Now, yes. Kasia, I've done this, Alan and I have done this for a long, long time, 3 years or thereabouts, and it's all started with him talking on TikTok.
Oops.
Throwing his stuff off a bridge, and I'm further downstream watching him on TikTok, and then for some reason things aligned. Oh, very apt at this time.
Very.
Right.
Things aligned.
7 planets.
We then started communicating, started talking. I always wanted to do a podcast, and he says, bingo, I've got a fucking story.
Right.
And that's how this all started. So, this is a podcast. You can speak how you like. If you F and Jeff, no problemo. It just means we get less revenue for YouTube. But guess what?
Right.
Guess what? We get fuck all for them anyway. So, why worry about it? So, Kasia's come to the Fly Fifer podcast asking if she could tell her story. We've not met through social media, so I've no looked at any of her stuff, any back catalogue. I've not seen her on social media. So, me, Alan and I are getting this as raw as you guys are. We've got, as ever, Claire pushing the buttons over the back. Hiya, Claire. Nice to see you. Thanks for assisting us again. And overall, we've got the watcher on the wall, the monkey, what you can't see, but we'll put that on somewhere. So, Kasia, Alan, do you want to say anything before?
I just want to commend you both on your artistic skills of falling on your ass. That was top class. That was brilliant, honestly. I wasn't sure whether to applaud or had up a wee sign saying straight 10s.
5.5.
What an introduction.
I was just jealous when I was watching James, so I had to do it.
I fell on my arse going. I fell on my arse going down to meet Kasia. Alan says, "You better take the lassie a brolly and be a gentleman." Yes, no problem, brolly in the van. The studio's on a slope, and it's got grass either side of the van. There's a nice path where the van's fucking parked.
Only for the van, though.
Only for the van. On the grassy
visitors.
bit, slidey as fuck. Got the wrong gutties on as ever. And up the hills, you wear boots a lot. So these vans are only good for down south. So anyway, I'm going down, meet Kasia, being the nice guy, slipped on my arse. One pair of jeans down. Going down, explaining to Kasia, bring her up to the house. Kasia decides she needs the loo. All good and well. We have one of them up here. So we goes to the loo. And I'm saying to Kasia, now if you just be careful and don't stand on that bit, fucking whoosh goes Kasia. Now I'm holding her arm at this point. Whoosh goes Jamesy for round
It was
number 2.
synchronised, man. It was beautiful to
Yes,
watch.
it was.
There was a tear in my eyes.
And
we
we
was laughter.
We were
There was a
pushing
synchronicity.
ourselves like, what a way to meet Kasia.
Oh,
That's
it
a
was
fucking
hilarious.
way to do it.
I thought that was the noise, because when I pointed down to Claire and I'm saying, look at them, I thought she was thinking, oh, what the noise? What they laughing at?
She's probably thinking, where did they go? So anyway, and then back to freaking. So it's came in threes a day.
You've got them, you've had them. That's it.
I'm making Just Another Monkey Alan a coffee this morning, thinking, yes,
Very posh.
I'm going to get fucking into this, because I do like coffee to drink it, but I've watched them make it, and I think I'll get my mate a coffee ready. Gets the fucking coffee in, cafetiere, fancy stuff for me. Fucking hitting the plunger down. Boof! The fucking thing explodes all over the kitchen.
Everywhere. You missed no surface.
So what bit do you want your
amazing.
coffee off, Alan? and Claire's got a video of that explosion, so I'll probably share a picture of that. Anyway.
So that's your three
That's
strikes,
the 3
you're done.
Yes, I am done for today, hopefully. Until the weather comes, because we've, make you all jealous. You're all getting battered, but we're getting knocked. The now apart from a wee bit of rain. Yes.
Well,
but I better not be smart about that and get back to Kasia, because it's not about me or him, it's about her. Hiya.
Oh, bless
Hi,
you.
Kasia.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome.
I drove through, well, not to hit Hurricane, but I think that's quite something that just shows my dedication and,
Definitely,
and commitment,
Well, I do remember you telling me the other day when I said Alan would be here, nothing will stop me from making it. And I was like, that's
Yep.
good, that's it, Because any Brit would have been like, oh no, there's weather warnings, I can't make it the day.
Oh,
And I
that's a
actually,
wee windy.
not me.
I thought, she's a true Highlander. It's got to be a Highlander. Only a Highlander would
I'm
go
a
through
true
that.
Highlander now, yeah.
That's why I was asking what was the pull to Scotland, because there's loads of people that come to Scotland, and I've always said it in many podcasts. I'll say Scotland isn't a place, it's a feeling. People are drawn here for some bizarre reason. Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking you.
That's correct. And my very, very first place I got into was Kyle of Lochaush.
You pronounce
So-
it perfectly. I can't do that.
So, yeah, I've been there for a couple of years, and what a beautiful place and surroundings. And also, back in around 2004, there weren't many of us as of the foreigners, And I was just welcomed so lovely, and I felt like part of a family, you know. So probably that's why I have stayed. Everyone was smiling and greeting and asking, "How are you?" And I was like, "What?
Yeah.
How is this possible that a stranger can be so nice?"
Can I just interject and ask where it was you came from?
From Poland.
Just to get it right. So Poland, right? Okay,
yeah.
It's the culture. Grafters.
Yeah.
You didn't come in and sit on your ass. You came in and worked.
Oh, you showed us how to do it.
How to do it? Huh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've met loads and loads of Polish over the years, so I'm quite fluent in the language, so I know he's a dupek.
Aye, whatever that is.
It's an arsehole.
I thought that was Dobra. No, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's...
Dobra's good.
Dobra.
Oh, bless you.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry, aye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's as far as I go. He's probably got a few
Some of them,
Quite
everything
a
they
good
told me,
pronunciation.
everything they told me was rude. There was one guy who worked in the coffee place in a big establishment, and I think it's the same one young James wouldn't mention.
Aye.
And he was great. He was great at the coffee. He never put up the walls or nothing, but he would tell me words. So I could say across, and this place is full of people, and I would say, "Shema huyo," and he would just go white, as if to say, "Helen, you can't say that." Yes, but you tell me that it says, "Hello, friend." It doesn't mean hello, friend.
What does it mean? Kasia, what is it? Not repeated.
no.
Not repeated. Fair enough.
It's hello, lady garden person. I was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to explain to us what it is that you do, because you felt a calling to come here. Is that along the lines of what it is that you do? What do you do?
What do I do? You mean right now?
As in, what is it you're going to talk about?
Well, initially about this fantastic therapy I am offering for everyone. Is very powerful, and there is lots of healing coming out from it. If you are ready for healing, because we go through life, through stuff, through many wounds, or we receive so many wounds and traumas, especially through the beginning our life, sort of from conceiving to, I would say, 6-7 years old. And the damage is done literally then, and then after you just carry all those wounds and traumas and kind of shit happens along the way. So, many of us at some point, whether you're 30, but I would say sort of 40 onwards, I think younger generation are being more aware what's happening or what has happened. So they are sort of early starters with the therapies, which is fantastic, because we meant to help, ourselves and each other, or we should. So, yeah, when you're 40, 50, you fell apart, into pieces. And then there is me who can actually truly help you. And as you know, there are thousands of different therapies, and even more therapists. And then who is the good one? What is your thing? Which one is going to help you? And people, go through so many. Sometimes one session with this person, no, it didn't work. Oh, I felt uncomfortable. Or, there are other reasons why we don't go back to the same person. I personally believe that sort of old-fashioned therapies don't work, or it takes forever to be where you're meant to be, and you can do it quicker. I think, or I believe, go through this uncomfortable, because to help yourself, to heal yourself, you need to actually face that's what's painful. You need to feel it, touch it, and then heal it,
Shake hands
and then
with
it's gone. So why not to be a wee bit uncomfortable for an hour or so, and then that bit of you is healed. Where when you go to, so I work with emotions, with that's what's stored in your body, because through our lifetime, our parents, especially grandparents, surroundings, everyone says, and also that's kind of brought generational, that girls shouldn't be laughing too loud, shouldn't be expressing. The boys meant to be hard. They shouldn't be showing emotions, and when you basically receive that, stereotypical form of belief, and which is passed through the generation, you become it. So then you are like this, through your lifetime. And I'm saying you don't have to, So that's why this therapy is really important. And that's why I want to talk about it, what actually happens, how it happens. But before I go there, that's, and I think it's quite important to talk about it as well. Like, what has happened in your life that you were broken, because I think there is this, like a taboo thing. We shouldn't be talking about the difficult stuff, embarrassing stuff, where we felt embarrassed, where we felt rejected, all about those traumas, because it makes people uncomfortable, When someone hears about something difficult, it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Because why? Maybe perhaps it happened to you, so you don't want to hear about it, because that brings back your own memories, which are stored in your body, And I think, no, I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. I was silenced for 40 years, and I'm saying no more.
So why were you silent? Who silenced you? What silenced you?
The little voice in my head.
the monkey.
The monkey.
Yeah.
Isn't it just,
You've no idea who you're talking to. This is what we've been doing for years.
It's just a female person telling me
So
what you've
yeah,
told me. What
you sound awfully like me, but with a really nice voice.
Oh, bless.
It's very bizarre.
Before, like, how I got into where I am today with you guys, I saw you. No, I heard you. Somehow you have appeared on my Facebook.
Right.
I don't know how it happened. You're from Fife, you moved to where you are. I'm from Inverness, but you appeared on my Facebook, and we don't have friends in common,
No.
And then whatever you were talking about, something silly, but it was this tone of the voice, and I pay attention. I'm a psychic, and I'm a medium as well.
Yeah.
And there are no coincidences in life, okay? Whatever happens to you meant to happen for whatever reason, whether it is fantastic experience and you're going to learn so much in a positive way.
Yep.
But actually from everything you can learn, depending how you are going to look at it, all those negativities, wounds and traumas, in fact, can be your strength. and can be something which empowers you, and you can empower others. So it depends on sort of which side you want to stand, the victim or a survivor,
I just want to say to
too
him,
close.
we've been searching for them for fucking ever.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
And one's found us.
Yeah. Very bizarre.
So when I have heard your voice, I was like, because, I've seen people wanting to do podcasts or doing podcasts, inviting others. And I was like, nah, I don't feel it, even though I knew those people. Yeah. I just knew it wasn't the right time, or not the right person.
Well,
and, it's like, I am so curious how our meeting up today is going to evolve, because I believe that something meant to happen. I don't know what
I
yet.
think it's already happened.
I know, but
I'll backpedal forward a little. Remember that one? Do you know where it all started? Was when I said to you earlier, that guy was chucking stuff off a bridge. I was picking it up on a beach downriver. I would never have been here if somebody like him hadn't have just said what you said in a different way, because he's a guy and he works a very similar but very different way. So we would not have been here had it not been for that chance meeting that him and I had. So about alignment and things happening for a reason.
Yep.
I feel at this point I need to be quiet and let you two talk a little.
You'll find that we would play a very nice, pleasant game of tennis, because everything you say and everything you believe, I'll tell you it from a Scottish perspective, you'll tell me it from your perspective.
All right.
So everything that I went through, we've discussed in detail, but the alignment thing, I've always known what I've done, I've always known who I am, but I never, ever really spoke about it. My last trauma type event was in 2019. And it was a T-shirt I had already known. So what we say is, if you've done something to me and I'm supposed to learn the lesson for it, and I've already been through it, it's a T-shirt. Or we've got these shoes, we've walked in these shoes before. When I was 21, I got delivered a story and I reacted the wrong way. But everything come at once. So it wasn't just dealing with one aspect, there was several. And it ended up with me being under the eyes of the psychiatric world, who told me they thought I was highly intelligent, but I had brain damage. That's the kind of confusion that makes me say, thank you, but I don't want to listen to you now because you need the medication more than I do. I was an angry young man, and everybody it's all there, so you would hear it and you'd think, yep, that's why you are the way you are. I turned everything round, but I kept so much to myself. But I've always assisted other people. I don't help them. Because as you know, you can take the horse to water. You can't make it drink. Yeah. The horse has to be thirsty. It needs to come to you, as you'll find. I went through it all, and everybody I've met, I've sat with, and we've had one-to-one personal conversations. 2019, I got delivered another one. I got told that my daughter wasn't my daughter. She was 27 years old, so it was another 28-year lie. I'd already done 21 years of a lie, and then walked straight in. I'm talking the gap was a matter of probably a month. He finding out that my biological father wasn't my father. He had died 3 years previous. This man hated me. My granny hated me. And this isn't me making it up. This was real. I felt that as a child, like you're saying, 7-year-old. I had an encounter with a paedophile, so that went to the back of the head. Everything come to a culmination at 21 when my brother handed me the keys and says he wasn't your dad. His uncle was your dad. So all the hatred I had felt wasn't mine to carry, though I carried it. I was the dark secret. So I felt really bitter. I was angry. I didn't know how to deal with it. So if you fast forward 28 years, when you delivered me another one saying, that's not your child that you've supported for all these years, the mother knew for day one there was a chance I wasn't the father. But they allowed this lie to keep going. So I'm thinking, is that it? Is that what life's got for me? That's the last chance to try and bring me down. Never going to happen, because I was so strong in myself and my beliefs. So that, right, we done the wee booklets, and it's a wee man carrying the bag, And he swung the whole bag round and we emptied it. I emptied it, and I go all the time in the world because something aligned and says, we have now discovered the coronavirus. Look into the eyes, no around the eyes. Sit on your arse for the next however many months. So I managed to sift through it all. And then I was doing the TikTok thing, and I thought, no, I've had enough of this now. And then he spotted it. Because I'm throwing all the rubbish off of the bridge. It's going down the Firth of Forth, down the estuary, and he picks it up in Portobello, which, you know, on the map, that's the flow, the tide. And then got in touch with me. I was doing a mental health awareness course, and the woman that was marking up the work had said to me, Alan, she would phone me. She said, Alan, you need to talk about this. You need to write about it, because we didn't use the language you do in that field. Mm-hmm. And I thought, right. So James, by fate, he says, well, why don't we get them published? So I did drawings. I did these wee doodles, and the doodles are hieroglyphic to me, but you'll spot it. I know you'll spot it. He spots it. Loads of people spot it. And behind him now is 7 volumes of all these doodles. We called them the Magnificent Seven. It wasn't meant to be 7. There was only 6 until I went in my garage and I found more. And I thought, oh, bugger, 7 of them. I have 7 wee ornamental things. They all worked as well. And we decided, right, time to get the people in. But James didn't really know himself that he was going to go on a journey. And he didn't know that that's why he was sat, but it unfolded and it just kept happening. And we've been doing this for a long time now. I was trying to get funding to make it happen. All I wanted, the funding I required, was 2 chairs in a room. Nobody would give me it. And I know a lot of people. I know people in different fields, different industries, the film industry. Oh, these people that all come in and say, yeah, we'll help. I'm still waiting on the phone call. To the extent you think, you know what, I'm not bothered now. It's very selfish of me, but I know that when I lock eyes with someone and they really look at me, they will see a reflection of themselves in my eyes, as I can see in yours. So it doesn't matter that you're female and I'm male. We have a commonality. So all our past traumas that you and I have dealt with easily, put a wee board in and say, that's not a trauma, because trauma only comes with realisation. So if I'm abused at 9-year-old, I didn't know I'd been abused because I wouldn't know the difference. It's only when somebody tells me, oh, that thing that happened to you, that's wrong. And I go, hang on, that's the only point you can go to trauma. The act is what nobody, like you're saying, they didn't want to go back there because it's uncomfortable. But it's people like us that can take them back pleasantly, and then they just open, and you see the shoulders go up. As I'm sure you already know. But it's really fascinating listening to you saying the exact same thing, because my head, with the trauma being delivered, shattered. And I use solvents. I don't know if you ever sniffed glue.
No.
I sniffed glue. And I says to a very learned person, she says to me, so you think that sniffing glue saved you, Alan? I says, my mind was shattered. When I found out what had happened to me, it was shattered. I was already carrying all this baggage, but this one was just too much. It overpowered the mind. I says, and I used the glue to stick it all back together. And that's what I've done. My life has been formed through everything I've done. Not what somebody else has told me. No psychiatrist, no therapist, nobody. Just only me. And it is a bizarre way of doing it. But it has its own language that opens doors to people really quite easily without too much effort, as you'll probably find. So you come into terms with your one and think, no, I've actually stripped it all back, taken all the chaff, got rid of that, and I've actually found the wheat. And this wheat is a gemstone that I can pass on to somebody else at your leisure. And obviously that's what you're doing, is by handing them that key to open herself to say, look, see the bogeyman. You created the bogeyman. What is it you call it? Baba Yaga. Is it Baba Yaga? The bogeyman.
Oh, bless
We
you.
create the bogeyman inside our own head, because the act, the individual, whatever it was that caused the trauma to be there, and trauma, again, like I say, it's not the act, it's that thing. We feed that, and it gets bigger and bigger. But see, when you actually open that final door to face it, you find it's a tiny wee thing hidden in the corner thing. That's been scaring me for 4 decades. Like you're saying, your numbers are almost spot on. So I'm saying it's like playing bingo. Everything matches.
Yeah. But there is more to it
Oh, a lot
than
more.
just our own trauma. We also carry the heaviness, the stories of our ancestors. And actually, we don't know how much we do carry. So as you mentioned earlier on, that, there was this story that it happened to you, that your dad wasn't your dad. And then, so that's an energy, is how I see it. That's an energy. And then it stays with you. And then you attract people, which are, if that is not resolved, we are attracting sort of this, back in the days, I was hearing from my own mother and other people that the opposites attract each other, which is a bullshit.
That's total.
The same traumas, the same wounds attract the same. Yeah. So,
just the energy.
back in the days, because I was, whatever happened, I was attracting exactly the same men with, the men with exactly the same traumas, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have something really wounded, you are not going to create a beautiful, long-lasting relationship, you know?
But it takes a while to work that one out, because you will try.
Oh, absolutely, because then you may potentially wanting to be the one, the savior, and you're being naive that you're going to help this person. It just doesn't work. But so this energy which is around you, kind of travels with you. So the things, if it's not stopped, if it's not cut off, the same things are going to be happening to you. It's happened to you. It's like happened to your father, and then happens to you, and then happens to your children. So now I was shitting myself, kind of realizing, Jesus, I've got 2 children. I need to do something, because the trauma I have passed over my traumas, my wounds to my children. Okay? And they are now 10 and 14. So everything what I could have equipped them, I already did. And their dad, because the 50 is from mum, the 50 is from dad, right? And now you can still work on it, like it's not the worst. The most important is you have realized what has happened, what power you hold within, and the power of healing. And when you heal yourself, this magic happens, that you not only heal yourself, you heal those before you and those after you. It's how it works. It spreads. So since I started my own journey with the therapy and being better and wanting to be better, then my children are different, they are changing.
Yep.
They will I will have to have the money for them, for their own therapies, because it is like rooted or enrooted in them already, certain things which belongs to me, not to them.
You may be better yourself doing it, because why send them down a path that doesn't work?
Yeah.
No, the therapy works.
Oh, no, I mean, like, if you're talking about financially giving them to go and seek therapy, they're better with your therapy, because if the financial one, that's not going to work, as you've said, It's,
but I mean, my son is
what's
at
the point
that
of sitting in
age.
front of somebody that's typing on a computer? Oh, that's terrible.
No, but I mean,
and then
my son is at that age where he's 14, so he can start little journeys here and there just to help him out,
Yeah.
So why not? And because I'm his mom, and he's not earning the money, I want to help him.
You're the best therapist.
So
Too close?
the parent will never be a therapist.
Okay.
To your own child. You can help out, you can obviously share your own thought. Well, actually...
Well, you're teaching them what not to do then, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, we've discussed
you can
that
give
many
the
a time.
example, by going to therapy, by saying openly about it, so then your child is aware, therapy isn't something, horrible and only the losers goes to it. That was how people thought of the therapy.
That's that stigma.
The stigma.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
But so, yeah.
See, the way that you do it is, when did you come to the realization that you had unhealed events? Because by that time, I'd imagine that you already had your kids.
Yes.
See me myself.
So, like, crazy creates crazy, you know what I mean?
I'd done that much work on myself, only on my own, inside, and that's the thing. I could be in the middle of a crowded street. I'm no in. I'm in here. I had a laboratory inside my head, and I can talk openly about it. Now, it started off an old Rolodex, so you could ask me something, and I would look it up. You would say something, I would already know. I would take what you said, and I'd go away, and I'd analyse everything, every part. But I've done that my entire journey. So by the time I had what is now my 3 daughters, the other one, it was fake, it was fraud, and I never saw anything because I knew there was something special with me. My granny was allegedly a medium via my mother. So I've always had strange occurrences, strange connections. It's another podcast on its own, just the crap. Well, we've probably done them all.
Probably done them.
But what I'd done was I broke the chain because man was my teacher. But then it turned out that man was not my father. So I resorted to a primeval existence where the monkey come in. Big monkey man was the other half of my brain. The split was man, again, trying to separate the two. So the monkey had to teach the man how to do it all again for first principles. How do I be a father? I use the exact same thing as James has already said. I can look around me and I study everything and I know how not to be a bad father. So I didn't abuse my kids. I don't lie to them. Do you know what I mean? All of these things. So by default, I learned how to be a father, even though nobody showed me, because I only know the wrong way to do it. The guy who was my father, they were brothers. But he never stepped in to shield me for the hurt and the pain, because I had to do that journey myself. So I broke the chain of command. So where you're saying this old, it just keeps coming through the bloodline, I broke that chain. My wife done the same. And if you look at my daughters, they have a knowing that if it was an encounter with a strange man, would you like to come and see some puppies? I know each one of them will turn and say, fuck off, you weirdo, without being told. They are so smart, so clever, because I believe that the work that I done was so they didn't have to. And that's because I broke that chain. Whereas unfortunately, your kids, you now have to do that work and that repair because you never broke the chain before your kids were there.
No, I was completely unaware what was happening to
That's
me.
it. But we're not supposed to know.
And is that what majority of us do? You know, something happens to us, we live our life, not dealt with it, buried inside, and then we have children.
Then we have to, but then we have to face. It's like because we done the building barriers was a booklet, and it's a wall. Because if you can hide behind that wall, you already hit right in the head. Which gets me is the survivor. You see the guy in front of the wall. He's the victim. He plays his hand too early, and the biggest, hardest thing to find is the survivor. Because they hide really well. They have a defensive wall that I can show up at any point. I can shut you from my head, even though I'm still present. I'll stare at you. I'll be there. I'll react. I'll nod. I'll do that. But inside my head, I'm no listening to you. It's a defensive mechanism that only a survivor has. The difference between the survivor and the victim is huge. Absolutely huge. It's the way that we deal with things as that survivor. We start to toughen up the shoulders, so we carry shit and then become empathetic to other people's crap, and we take that and all. And you think, by the time you get to the stage where I'm saying that wall that you've been hiding behind, you end up getting that much distance that it hits you right in the face and you stop dead, and you must open that vault and let all that shit out. It has to come out. And then when you look in, you think, hang on, that trauma's no even mine, because some people will have an act thrust upon them. 5-10 years later, they find out that what happened to them was actually wrong. That's no normal. And they're like, God, what do I do? So you hide, but the noise is there. And how do you shut the noise off? I'll smoke some cannabis. That's not good enough. The noise is coming back. I'll take some Valium. Right, okay, how do you buy the Valium? I've got to sell my soul. I've got to turn to prostitution if you're a female. I've got to do crime. And then you get to that stage at the end where all this guilt is now there because of the things you've done. You think, I'm the guy, and I'm sure you'll be the same, that steps up and says, hang on, had you no walked through that door over there where the act was, if it was abuse, whatever it was, if you never walked through that door, you would never have had the compulsion to take Valium to shut off the noise. So why should you, because step 4, a 12-step program for addicts and stuff, is admitting to the things that you've done. I'm quite happy and quite content with the things that I've done for me to survive, because if I hadn't, if I'd chosen door number 2, which is rather than talking from the bridge, I go over the bridge. Why do I have to pay the price? I never done anything in the first place. So I'm no willing to pay that price, and I don't want other people. So where you're saying get them early, especially the ones that have had the act upon them, and then they start shutting. And then I know what they do. They start forming this persona. They become a character in life. They're no real, because we can sit next to survivors and we don't know they're survivors. You and I can look at each other's eyes. James can do the same. And we know each other's a knowing. And I think that's what's occurring, this strange thing that you've now decided to sit there. He's actually here with his partner. And this, we're all here, and you think, how is that happening? We've done this loads with people, and it's just a very strange thing that is happening, and it's not for us to question. You maybe have a better thing, because I'm not a medium. I didn't do it in that sense. But if you can work it out, then yeah, I'd love to know so that I could offer it to somebody else as something, another part of the journey. Because them coming to us, once they're there, you know that the horse is thirsty. There's no point in dragging it about with the face if it's not ready to open. But once you open that vault and you're standing there holding hands with this person in the theory side, you're holding their hands saying there is nothing to fear here, because let me tell you, Baba Yaga to you, it's never going to scare me. I've danced with him for a long time to the extent that I created a prison inside my head, and I managed to coax all these demon thoughts into there. And see, I would tiptoe past the door so I didn't wake them up, because when the noise comes, you know how hard it can get and the things you'll think about. My biggest thing was when I went at 21, there was Kenny Rogers, the singer, he'd done The Coward of the County. I could have kept running for this thing, but because they put me in prison for psychiatric evaluation, I locked the door, and I said, nobody's going anywhere until we sort this. And I can see it through my teeth with a right vengeance, because I wanted to fight. I was sick of it, sick of this torture that was in my head. So see, when life moved on from there, I would tiptoe up to the door and then go, woo, and scare the demon. I kept them prisoner inside my head until 2019, 2020. And I let them go. And that's when I was explaining to the psychologist, psychiatrist, she had all the titles. I says to her that my wife wanted me to change all the locks and hinges on our property in the house. So I was doing it, but all the time I'm going through all the 27 years of lies. I'm thinking, mind that now, you bastard, and anger. But I'm dealing with it. I'm not taking it on anyone else. I'm doing what I do. I'm doing it in this autopsy lab that I have inside the head. And I'm explaining to the doctor that what I was doing in theory was the exact same as practical. I'm taking the doors off the prison. I'm releasing these things that I've now tortured. I tortured them till they had nothing left, and they're scared to get out and walk. And I'm like, just go. Got nothing for you anymore. You're not entertaining me now. You're just boring. Leave. So they left, and I created this, what I'd explained to her, is this visitor's attraction, where anybody can freely walk in and see how the hell a 55-year-old man has survived the things I've survived, because a lot of them are enough to put one guy over the edge. Then you put 2 and you think, that's a lot to carry. When you start adding them up and you think, Jesus, you've got every box ticked, because they call them adverse childhood experiences. I can tick all the boxes and write a wee paragraph at the bottom. And that to someone else is extremely valuable, because you can't buy that knowledge. Why? Because I know a lot of people survived it. Being for the north of Edinburgh, I've saw people go before they're 21-year-old and things like that. They're all harbouring something they can't deal with because they've nobody to talk to. This is your show, no minds. Big Al spouted all this crap before. But it's just to validate that the way you're dealing with it. It's, if you were to, because I used to question, was I really insane? Was I daft? Because nobody else thought like this. So to hear somebody with the exact same voice, that if you've never listened to me talking, how the hell do you talk the same language as me? And you're from another part of the world.
Yeah.
I know, I
you
guess
chapped
it
her
is.
door.
It is the internal strength, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
there's
your
a
soul
resilience
path,
built up.
I guess,
Yep,
as well.
definitely.
Because, you know, our lives are completely different, and the stories happens differently, and not everyone, as you say, is going to, you know, come out of it the way, you know, we are trying or we did. Whatever it is, I am very grateful now.
And you now see that because you've healed for yourself, you can then turn around and say, thanks very much. I'm now going to assist other people because this is why I went through that. This is why I've done that, so I can save somebody. Because if it took you, say, 3 decades to work on it, to actually sit down and work on it, you know that there's minds out there that didn't have that strength or that capacity to actually get that far, that they might never see 3 decades. And I'm saying the same thing. Need them early. We need them to listen, to say, look, they used to say in a British Telecom advert, Bob Hoskins, it's good to talk. There's never been a better time to talk because, like you're saying, that whole systemic crap that we grew up with, no, you just take it on the chin, the upper. And
Be
you're like,
brave.
fuck off. No.
Stop being dramatic.
Exactly.
You know?
If I've heard people, and they would maybe say to me that they hear voices. My thing is, what's the voices saying? Whereas other people will say, well, you maybe need to go and speak to somebody. Like, why do I have to go and speak to somebody? You're right in front of me. How can you not hear? That's where the mental health starts to get playing tricks, because you think, I can hear it. How can you not hear it? How do you not see it? How can you not see my pain? How can you not see the anguish? Because to say to me, oh, how are you, Alan? But, oh, I'm fine. You'd see right through me and say, no, you're not. I know there is something, because your shoulders are down, you're carrying something. It's just something that it's really nice to hear somebody else without you saying to me, oh, well, I've been tested for this, Alan, and I've got this badge and that label and this balloon, and I'm a lunatic. That would make sense to me, but you're no. But you talk the same language. It's very comforting to me and very comforting to the journey. Although I've spoke to people and they agree and they're like, Alan, it doesn't matter what way you say it. It makes sense. So to hear you saying it, it's great. But you now see this as a calling for you.
It is. It has been. It has been through my own journey of the initial therapy, which saved my life. If I wouldn't have this person in my life, I may have not been here.
That's a big one.
You know,
that's the value. Yeah, let it go.
You know,
no,
it's fine. It's fine. And it's like the more I work with it, it's still in you, you know? And you will never forget. That's what, you know, like people have those misconceptions that when they will go for a therapy, for a one session is not enough, it's just the beginning. But is that what I thought? If I will go, when I will go to see this person, they are going to erase my memories. You know what? Like, seriously. Wouldn't be that just wonderful?
You're back in the room.
And then I had a shock. It's like, oh shit, I need to actually deal with it. No one is going to take it away. Even though I was an adult in my early 40s, with like inside of me, I was a child, this hurt child, crying for help. Like, Mom, please help me and save me from whatever I'm feeling, or Dad, you know? Because all these people in my life, and you may feel similar, that whoever we have been in a relationship with, or whoever has been sort of coming close to our life, we sort of, in the back of our head, we're thinking, oh, this person is going to give me this comfort, which I never had from my mum, or never had from my dad. And we are seeking it, longing it,
Searching,
because we never had it. And that's why my relationships failed, because I had emotionally unavailable father, which not only was like cruel emotionally, but physically as well. You know, lots of beating up and the blood pouring and, you know, bruises everywhere. And people say, some other people say, you know, but it was just like, I don't know, once a week or, you know, once a month. What is this, you know?
Drama queen.
Or he only said, you're not worth it, you know? What's that? I've heard worse stories, or I've heard worse words from my own father. Everything is valid, you know?
So what age do you think you first accepted that story you've just told? What age do you think you were then? Where the child was screaming to get out? Or for attention, mum, dad.
Is it the one that where you then seek the therapy? Is that what you're looking for?
No,
or
way
because
back.
the therapy?
Right, so let me
beatings and everything like
go
that.
back. At age of 5, I was so scared of my parents and so sort of isolated, as of knowing they are no help, no support, emotionally, physically, that when the sexual abuse has happened from my mum's brothers and uncles, I knew I cannot go to them. Obviously, I was groomed into it as well. You know what you mean?
But you wouldn't have had capacity as a young child. You didn't have capacity to know this is wrong.
Oh,
as far as you were aware, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But it's that feeling, isn't it? It's the feeling of knowing that it's wrong, but you just didn't know it's wrong because nobody's telling you it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's maybe hurting physically, but not mentally. At that
See the
time.
physical pain is easy because you can see where it is, you can see where it's coming from. But to not know that nobody else goes through it. So when somebody says, "Oh, it's not that bad," or "What you worried about? Why are you creating drama queen?" It almost desensitizes you, and then you close it down, and that's where the survivor emotion comes in, because you know that the only place you're going to be heard is inside your own fucking head. So you split your personality into two people. You've got the face that can take the abuse, the beatings, and everything else, but inside your head, you're on your own. And you're the only person because nobody hears you. Yeah. And that's where the mental health really gets kicked right in the head to think, am I mad? Am I bonkers? That this can be happening and you're the only one that deals with it. So for you to carry that on, to then eventually say, I need therapy here, because all your relationships, if your family is abusing you the way that you're saying, trust is, you no longer know what trust is. It's a word.
No.
So when you go into a partnership, how do you know that that partner isn't going to do the exact same thing? Because standing next to you, a man is a man. That's it. It's only when you meet a male.
I know.
She's tougher than that, boy.
Just in case.
I noticed, but you done that earlier and took the pear lassie on her arse
I know.
Yeah.
for a skate down the
Trust
hill.
me's gone.
That's it, but it's that thing.
It's a
These
slippery
emotions, so love. Your parents are supposed to fucking love you. So for them to punch you square in the face or do whatever, and you're like, this doesn't feel right. Is this normal? And that's what I'm saying. I went through my life quite often.
Sorry, just in case.
In case I spill my water.
Aye. Or I spell it for you.
So just to be in the book. But to actually know that these things are wrong, but nobody else is admitting they're wrong. So you start questioning your own sanity, thinking, is it me? Am I patchy? Should I just accept this? And then eventually, because James knows, those two that are there, the monkey mind is the primeval, the man that you're clashing with, thing, you're an asshole. You're not supposed to fucking beat me up. You're supposed to support me, teach me, learn the things that, so that I didn't make the mistakes by you. All this guidance, it's wrong. So you see man as being this fierce fucking claw. But then the primeval monkey will say, I'll fucking beat you. And what they realise, and what I realised myself, and I put it over as clearly as I can, is that each one of them at some point, they know not one of them is ever going to win, but both of them can lose. So they have to shake hands. When they shake hands, they do this. And they go back and they find that in their child. You'll find that screaming child is sitting there playing with a dolly. Nothing ever happened to her. Nothing at all. Because at some point, for myself, if I hadn't walked through that door, nothing would have happened. So I can go back and pick up that wee boy, because he's still standing there saying, where did you go? Because he's now got these two big brothers who have been fighting. And once they've shaken hands, they turn and say, right, what's missing? Well, where's the wee guy? Well, I don't fucking know. I've been driving all the time. Because my thing was that as the young boy, as first year at secondary school, which is 12-year-old for us, he's had enough. It's like, if this is life, you can shove it up your ass. I dealt with all this pain. And to then finally realise that the encounter with the man in the stairwell, that's wrong, Alan. You're now, what, so now if another man touch me, does that mean I'm gay? Fuck, I can't carry that as well. It's too much. Let me go. And the monkey steps in and says, are you want to go? It's like, I can't do this. I can't take it. He says, right, you sit in the passenger seat. I'll fucking drive. And he just done what he had to do. So if he had to steal to survive, whatever he done it, and he played the game that's in man's world. It's not the world that we would have chose, because none of us would. No, you'd need to be fucking off your trolley to pick the life that we have. But for you to then spin that table right round and then go back in to grab other people, we say it to go into Shit Creek and extend your hand and pull them at the jobbies. Because there's no need for anybody to suffer this. We can tell them that it's fucking wrong. Don't carry it. So if the abuser works in one shop and you avoid that shop, you go to that one, the produce might not be as good. You think, why am I avoiding this? I never done anything wrong. This is a fucker that needs to look at me while I smile and say, if you thought you were going to break me, did not fucking work. Everything I have is still here. The bruising has gone. The hurt was only inside my fucking head.
Yeah, I guess it's the head is one thing and the heart is the other.
They're attached, aren't they?
You know.
One beats for the other.
So, you know, our own mind likes to sabotage everything what's in our heart, what's stored in our body. And there, the confusion steps in. And then wrong choices, you know. But then how can you make right choices when you're so hurt?
You've got to learn. You have to learn. That's what I'm saying. At the point where you had decided that you needed that therapy, to then work out what the therapy done for you, to then now sit here saying, I understand why this healing process must happen. It's not that it may happen. It must happen. It has to happen. You have to deal with it, because we're not built to carry this stuff. And when you look at it, when you actually take the trauma for the back of the mind, put it on the table and look at it and think, why am I carrying that? It's not mine. I never done anything wrong. So
and how can you make the right choices if you've only been taught the wrong ones?
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? How can you possibly? Did somebody give you a rule book?
You know,
now that's happened, there's a rule book for that. No, you didn't.
It's like, you know, at that age of 5, my life has been changed completely, you know, forever.
Yeah.
And, you know, back in the days, I was howling and crying out loud, like, why? Not understanding. Now I understand.
Yeah.
Because I meant to be on the path I am right now.
Yeah.
Because now I understand others, what they went through, what they are going through. And I have that compassion and understanding and kindness, you know, that you can be better if you are willing to choose, you know, different path. But as I was saying, people are scared. They are frightened because it's going to hurt, because they have to go back for this hour or, you know, every couple of weeks for an hour or two to certain memories, to certain feelings. But all our feelings are inside of us anyway. So, well, why to carry it? Why to carry weight, you know? Like through the therapy I'm doing, or I'm offering, my client came to me and she said, because everyone has to come with the subject they want to talk about or work about. And she said, I want to work with weight in general. And the weight can mean, you know, I feel heavy, I'm a big girl, or I'm a big man, right? And I don't like that about me, right? There is always a reason why we look certain way, why we do carry that weight, you know, to protect ourselves. From what? And sometimes we don't remember because, like myself, whatever has happened in the past, especially the rapes, I was actually thinking, why do we say children are abused, but like women are raped? For me, that's the same. If it happens, it happens,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No, age doesn't come in.
It's meant to be
abuse.
called as it is, because the abuse can mean anything, emotional abuse, No, the rape is rape, when it happens. But we don't tend to use that because it's like, that sounds wrong, it's too delicate to maybe talk about it. By the way, I was talking about what was I talking about?
It's the client that comes to you wants to deal with. So they put on the fat suit because it hides them because they're not going to get raped if they're a big fatty.
So we
then.
worked with not really her weight as of the physical, but what she was carrying. And of course, some of the things which happened in her life were because of her decisions, but then also the stories she was carrying. She was a female, so she was carrying so much from her own mother, the pain, the rejection, potentially, let's say, could be abuse as well. And then her grandmother was passing over this energy of heaviness, that the women are lesser than the man, and then I need to serve the man. So, as female, carrying especially so much from our mothers, unknowingly. And I have said to myself a long time ago, I will never be like my mother. The minute you say it, it means you are actually like your mother. In some way or form, that you carry her energy. You may not be doing exactly the same as she did it, but actually now through the therapy, I know, like, Jesus.
No, you're absolutely right. I get it with my own mother. My mother will say, you're awfully argumentative, and I just look at her like...
You gave me the tools.
And then she even said it about my son. Oh, he's awfully, he's quick to snap. And I'm like, hello? It just went for you to me to him.
It does, So at the end of the session with the client, she has realized how much she was carrying on her shoulders. Yeah. Actually, everywhere around the body. Because it wasn't just ancestral, it wasn't just from her mother, it was from someone else. As well, there was a death in the family she wasn't aware of. But through the therapy session, we can figure it out together. Your body remembers everything, what has happened in the 4th and 5th generation.
It's a Akashic record, isn't it?
It's fascinating, fascinating. So, let's say... our grandparents, great-grandparents, were in the Second World War, First World War. Things have happened. They had to do certain things no human should be allowed to do, whether it was that. Some others were hiding others, like Jews or whoever else. They died. So many women were raped because the German soldiers were going from one village to another. So many children were born out of that. And no one knows about it because we meant to keep a secret, Yeah. All these traumatized men which came back from the war, the family lives were so disturbed and it was so unbalanced because then the mothers had to step in and to be a father and a mother in this family. And then this broken man came back. And so she had to carry his pain and then raise children, sometimes 5, sometimes 10. That is heavy already, And then if there were unborn children or death of a newborn or miscarriages or abortions, that's another death into your energy, and you carry it, Totally. So it's massive. So anyway, when I finish, because I'm still going on about this therapy I did, this particular session, at the end, I have asked her, like, how do you feel now? Do you still feel heavy or heaviness? And she's like, as if 3-5 stone has shifted my
Lifted.
shoulders.
It's a burden, isn't it? It's a burden that you
You know,
carry.
that it is.
And it was you being 40, the burden, the shame. Because
yeah.
we carry the burden, the shame. Because the shame, like abortion, termination, rape,
Yeah.
because you're not allowed to talk about it. There's
Yeah.
no therapy there for you. And you think, how can you physically expect to carry that and no pass it on? And that's what we do. Like you're saying, you pass it down the family line, and it's only when somebody eventually says, whoa, stop the fucking bus. I'm not doing this anymore, that you then start doing the work. How long did that one case take you, the sessions? Was it one session?
It was a one session.
Wow, how long?
It varies. I would say I'm seeing client for an hour, right? But if we are in the middle of a process, I am not going to finish.
So if it goes
just
5
can't.
hours, it goes 5 hours.
It won't go that long.
But I mean,
But,
if it aye.
with this particular client, I worked for 2 hours.
Right.
You know, sometimes it's an hour and a half, sometimes an hour and a quarter, sometimes it's 40 minutes, because the person might be quite self-aware. You know,
And they want.
and
want
it
to
doesn't
talk.
take that long. It all depends on the process.
And
It
do you
depends on
do
the
you find that
person.
they want to come back, or are you a
For
one-hit
some,
wonder?
for some, it is too much. You know, after the initial session, the client feels different, feels better, but then actually the whole process starts after they sort of close the door. I do it through Zoom, so you can be anywhere in the world.
Wow.
But the minute we say goodbyes, it's their process, and it's nothing to do with me, you know.
Right.
But what many people think is I'm going to, fix magically the issue. It just doesn't work that way, you know. So how you may feel after the session, it all depends. It depends how much has been stored within your body. If you are 50, 60 and never had a therapy session, it's you may feel quite all over the place for a couple of days. But you need to trust the process and just be gentle, and look after yourself.
And that, see towards the closing of the session, are you like Jerry Springer at the end of a show? He has that moment of reflection. Do you know when you can say goodbye to them?
Yeah.
See,
And
that's
they
the
know
big
as
one.
well.
I've been sat with psychiatrists, and they'll go like this, right, okay, what we'll do there, Alan, is if you'd like to pick up all that shite you've just dropped on the floor, fuck off, I'll see you next week. You're vulnerable and you're thinking, I'm exposed here.
Yeah.
And you've got to carry that baggage away. And then, like you're saying, when the camera goes off, the session ends,
Yeah.
you're left alone right back with this open wound. But but it's nice to know that you know
of
that
course,
there's a
we
bit
are
of healing happened.
the healing happens, but also you are then later left with your thoughts and feelings, as a client, and it's entirely up to you what you are going to do with that. It's your own responsibility, and you may feel sometimes confused, because you have found out about something it never clicked.
It never registered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might be mind blown and not knowing what to think, what to do. Just give yourself time. Everything takes time. You cannot rush the process.
Hi, can I just take a couple of minutes of your time? One thing I've noticed with the podcast is I've started looking at these analytic things. Should never do that, it's weird. But anyway, in the last 3 months, we've racked up over 30,000 viewers over the last 3 months, which blows my mind because I had that like 3 months before. There was over 30,000 viewers. So what I wanted to say, or something that I found out by viewing these analytics that I never ever knew really much about or wanted to know much about, and that is that almost 90%, I think it's 84.1% of our viewers are not subscribed. Now, I've been getting the mickey taken out of me about coming on to do this little segment to say, please, if you come across the channel, could you just like and subscribe to the channel. It's the only way for this channel to grow. It's the only way that I can make it better, is if more of you come on board, more of you subscribe, more of you watch, share, like, what is it, like, subscribe, like and share, or whatever it is they all say. But to be getting 30,000 different curtain twitchers, as we would call them, and then, you know, that, like, what was that said, 84.1% that aren't subscribed to the channel. If we could just get that down to even 50%, it would help this channel grow so much. And I don't know, this feels like I'm begging, but I'm not begging. But you know what? This costs a fair bit to put on. It costs a fair bit to travel around doing different interviews with different people. So every little would help the growth. And my promise with this is that the more this channel grows, the better the conversations will get, the bigger the guests will get. But we've got to grow it organically. So please help me help you enjoy what you see by just, you know, click the button, subscribe, like, and share with your friends. You won't like everything, but you might like something. And that is why I do this. It is done purely as a hobby and as a passion, to talk to people, hear people's stories, not to be judgmental on anything at all. Race, religion, colour or creed does not matter to me on this podcast. I will talk to anyone about anything, and I look forward to talking to you. So we wore a very apt top today because I was getting ripped into about making this video, and it is, shh, no one cares. But you do, because 30,000 of you are watching on occasion. Stop curtain twitching, start hitting that little buzzer, hit the little bell, hit subscribe, and help me help this channel grow. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Right, back to the whatever we're doing.
Do you want a cigarette?
I would love
Well,
one. No.
we could stop for a minute. Or
Do you smoke?
I don't. No.
No, none of you smoke. No, you see, nah, that's
You're
pointless.
boring.
Dealt with that. Problem.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we dealt with that.
Then I would feel the guilt and
Yes.
shame,
That's
and then
it.
I would
You're
have
gonna
to
have
have
to
this,
do a call with
therapy
us.
process.
Yeah. There's him
You
call.
need to sit and talk to yourself.
Sorry about that.
No,
Go back
it's
if
fine.
you-
I don't remember what I was saying.
About lying
It's,
down,
it's
relaxing.
letting the process heal.
Oh yeah,
And then the person,
yeah.
what they
You
do
need to
next.
take time. You know.
See, I've found that when somebody's something, because you know yourself, if it's 4 decades of trauma they've carried, never spoken about it, I can get them to open and deal with the whole thing in 45 minutes, but I need to know that they're not going to go away reflecting on that in a negative way. So I need to make sure that they're absolutely happy.
I don't think it is your responsibility, because then you are taking on yourself their feelings, their stories, and it's not your responsibility.
I didn't mind
Your
it.
responsibility is, as a therapist, is to point out or to show why they were feeling a certain way, or why certain emotion was in them, and to heal that, But by saying healing that is a realization what has happened as well. But then they after they finish a session with me, they may have hundreds of different thoughts, and I am not responsible for them, because then you are becoming a parent to this person, as of holding the hand and carry this person through. And that is not my responsibility. I am not a parent of my client. I'm there to use my tools, use my knowledge, my own experience, and to help them through that process. And that's it,
Yeah.
Because
There always has to be a cut-off, but you have to be careful with that you're not doing mummy and daddy at that point. I would say, just as a complete stranger here listening to this story, I would say you really need to be careful with that cut-off. Because they might be that 5-year-old like, why are you not listening to me? Where have you gone? I need your help. Sorry, if I'm picked up on that the wrong way. It's just,
it's always been my thing.
Yeah.
I've got to know that the individual is very comfortable back in their own skin, that they've opened this up, we've healed it, and they're fine to move on.
And sorry, that wasn't a whole poke. It was a thought process. I thought better getting it out.
I think, after the therapy session, whoever this, even myself, when my therapist finished the session, I cannot ask him or her, I'm not going to be recording messages or voice messages or calling. I feel a wee bit sad today. What should I do?
No. I'm just saying that say we open up a trauma and I've managed to get you to open, and you've opened up to the 5-year-old you, and then everything that happened beyond that. Once I'm happy that you know now, like, this is the first time I've ever spoken to you. This is really hard. I'm having to face it. Right now, let's just look at that. Once that's it, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about continuing and walking them down the path.
But
once it's done, it's done.
There are so many people which actually messages me afterwards as of, your therapy didn't work. I feel shit today. And it's like, well, so much has happened in your life. So you are exposing yourself
so
to
you're
now
saying
feeling more.
The tools to open up.
Yeah.
You've
let it
allowed
settle.
them, so it's down to them to then do that.
Yeah, so let it settle after the session for about a week or two. You may have different thoughts and emotions, and then come back for another one, because you cannot fix, or heal.
It's a process,
everything,
isn't it?
what has happened to you within 40, 50, 60 years, even within 5 sessions, I had so many, and I'm still finding out sometimes that, I need to go back to my mother again, I need to go back to my father, because there is still something, and that's okay, But now it's like a one-off here and there, where before I needed it constantly.
See, my thing was with the individual, if it was a deep, deep secret that they held for a long time, and they open it and boom, the secret's out, then you can say to them at the end, guess what? See, that secret, it's not a secret anymore, because you've gave it to me, and I'm not going to carry your burden. I'm going to throw it away because it's rubbish.
Yeah.
I don't know why you carried it for so long. And they're like, fuck, I never thought about it like that. And that's once the secret's gone, that's when they want to go for a walk. Then they're safe enough, because the actual act itself, the main cause, root, the trauma has been exposed, that then you're like, right, now that the big bit's gone, I can look at all the small bits. And why did I do that? Well, it was because of that. Why did you react in that situation? Because of that. Why can I not hold you in a relationship? Because of that. Now that that's gone, which takes a lot of people into the drug misuse thing, once they've addressed the demon in the corner, and it's no longer serving any power, there's no need to hide for it anymore. So the drink, the drugs, whatever the choice, the vice is, it doesn't have the same impact. It's only the body's craving for it, because the mind has been appeased, because it's finally addressed the elephant in the room type of thing.
Well, you're saying, or you're talking about the whether the drugs, whether people are going for, right? The drugs or drink or even smoking cigarettes or hazard, or buying. Anything,
violence, the whole thing.
But that comes, the root is when you have no emotional access from your father. And that happens to women and happens to men. And the reason is because the father was absent in whatever way. My father was in our family, as of, I knew he is there, but I never saw him, he was working long hours. And then when he came home, then he was violent. And never, there was no cuddling or making sure I know who I am. I know my strength.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't that. But all those, releasing the anger, smoking, drinking, whatever.
Yeah.
The root is the absence of a father, and it works for both men and women. You know, that's and when you heal that, then gradually you're not needing to do all those things. You know. I have been in the past drinking, I don't know, maybe let's say twice a week in the weekend, you know. Initially, just a glass of wine, just a drink, you know. And then from one there was 3 glasses. Oh, that's a bottle. But 3 glasses sounds better than a bottle of wine, is it? And still would have go to work.
Look, the co-op's doing 3 for $9.99.
I would still go to
that.
work. I would still handle the children. You know, but
and how did you feel that the 1 glass to 3 glasses was it appeasing and just calming your mind so that you didn't have to do the self-therapy?
Because I felt so empty within, so empty, and so lonely, and so rejected as well. And I'm talking about this childhood, which I thought, my relationship with my ex didn't work out. Maybe that's why, right? Because you're trying to find the solution. Why do you feel this way? And you usually blame others, you know? It's his fault, her fault. She did this, he did that. But actually, the root of it is, at some point, you were rejected by your own parent. And they didn't do it knowingly. They have given you what they had. And because they had very little, they have given you little. You know, now I understand it. Before I was blaming my parents, and I couldn't even speak to them for a couple of years. But now I can, because I understand. I've got peace in me, you know? It's like I understand what's happened. And this anger is gone, and everything else. My parents obviously have their own issues, which
that's for them.
They will deal with it, may not. But that's nothing to do with me.
Nothing.
You know?
That's the baggage. That's what I'm saying. When you actually empty the bag out and you realise this isn't mine. Why am I carrying your guilt, your shame? That's yours. Take it back. Have it. I'm not taking it.
But then, like with the relationships as well, you're attracting someone with similar wounds and everything else. So when you welcome this woman or a man to your life, you take not only their current heaviness and sadness and traumas and dramas, you also carry their ancestral heaviness. So, that's like too much and so much to take.
Definitely, But it shows the resilience of you and the shoulders you have, that you can actually realise that and know that that's what you were doing.
Yeah. Well, now I know.
Now you know, but that's the benefit, because if you never understood any of that, you'd be naked to this lassie that wants to lose the weight.
Yeah. So, that's why, we can work about any subject. I'm not a doctor.
That was the next one. Is what's the qualifications? What do you have?
I have a diploma, or certificate, let's call it, right?
And
it's called family constellation therapy. Family constellation therapy, or systemic family constellation. It's not much known here in UK.
No, I've never heard that.
I had clients from Australia, and a woman 20 years ago, 10 years ago, has had that session before. But she said, maybe because I'm a medium, I'm a psychic as well, maybe, I kind of bring all tools together, whatever it is. But also, every therapist is different.
Yeah.
So,
See the
and
ones
you
that
need
are
to
learned.
be very careful as well who you go to.
The ones that are learned from a book, that's not an experience, because they can't empathise with you directly, because the devotee that that emotional contact, whereas you know, because you're talking through your own experience.
True.
And it's
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, that's where the eyes come in, that reflection. You can reflect on each other's journey and you know, and if the person's comfortable enough, they'll open to you because they didn't fear you. Whereas if it's somebody saying, yeah, okay, and looking at writing something in a book, there's a detachment there. And that's where you're saying be careful. I would never advise anyone to go into these things unless that person is talking for a peer support position. So if you've never walked that path, please don't advise me how to walk it because you're going to leave me vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're going to open a wound that they can't stitch back together.
Yeah.
Only you do. And that's where that endy conversation thing, you know that the wound's open and it's been addressed now. The healing process is part that we do that. Cut me open. The initial injury is there. But if you put a nice wee plaster on it, soothe me, calm me down, I know it will heal. We just have to allow the process. But if you're a doctor that goes like, whack, deal with it.
Yeah.
No good. But you know through experience what these people have to go through in the healing process. Because why? Because you've done it. You've had to
And
do it
it
yourself.
works. That's why, you know?
Oh, it definitely works.
Absolutely.
Nothing surer. And that's the sad thing is there's people out there that they do just go still with that old draconian rule. Just shut up, stiff upper lip and just get on with it. Oh, that happened. Oh, so what? Oh, it was worse than that in my day. Yeah, but you never talked about it. You never had the opportunity to talk about it. So I didn't really want to carry this and then pass it down the lineage to my kids. I would rather we addressed it right now. It happened. Yes, it happened. We move on for it. We don't carry it. We need to take it with us. We leave it there where it should be and we walk on, moving forward.
That one.
Well, you know, like at the time when I was in Million Pieces, I have reached out to my GP because I thought, I need help. I don't know where to even seek this help from, you know. So first thought was, because some of my friends were on antidepressants and they were saying, oh, just go to the doctor. He is going to give you, you know. So I thought, right, okay, just to survive and just to
another day,
you know, mellow down a wee bit, so it is not so raw and so fiery. So I spoke to my GP, and I wasn't honest though. I didn't say about what has happened to me in
because you're not
childhood.
comfortable telling these strangers.
Yeah, maybe, you know, yeah. But anyway, I have not received any prescription. He said, there is nothing wrong with you, okay? Even though I was crying on the phone, and I said to him, how many more thousands of pounds I need to spend to feel better? By
How
that
many
time,
bottles of wine have I got in your arsehole?
by that time, I bought very expensive static caravan, which I couldn't really afford, but the bank has given me the money. You know what I mean?
Have it.
And I was like, listen, that is just ridiculous. Now it's going into like thousands of pounds, you know? And
Were you
he's
using like a retail therapy then at this point? Is that what you're saying?
well, you see, when you have this emptiness in you, you overspend.
You have to fulfill.
Yeah,
You have to fulfill.
Shut it up.
No,
Shut
so
the
many
monkey up.
different ways. But I didn't know it was related to my father, actually, you know?
Right.
So now, when I'm semi-done, it's like, I don't need to.
Yeah.
I don't need to overeat. I was so heavy, you know?
Right.
Because there was this emptiness. So if I wasn't drinking, then I was eating, or I was spending
You
the
had to have
money.
a vice. You had
It's
to have
like
a
you
vice
have
to
to do
stop
something,
the noise.
you know?
See, North Edinburgh, there is nothing available in that sense. So money, debt, it's not available. It's no there. So you have to go down these routes of drink or drugs. Violence becomes another one as well. There's all the vices that's there. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to the stage 4, the 12-step programs, is you admitting to that. And you're like, but no, if the systemic trauma wasn't there, I would never have fucking bought the wine, all the caravan, all the
absolutely.
debt. You would never have done it.
Yeah.
But a GP saying, no, you're fine, I'm not going to do it. And so you then have to either go retail therapy. Why? Because it makes the noise shut up. It's only when you meet somebody like yourself that says, well, stop. Let's address the problem.
Yeah.
The root
But
cause.
he did me a favour, though.
Of course.
You know,
yeah.
because things meant to happen the way it happened. He did say, though, that, you can wait another 6 months, or you will be in the queue for some meeting up
18
someone,
months,
you know. And I was like, I need someone right here and right now, because I don't know whether I'm going to be here within a
That's
week.
it. You
know
didn't
what I mean?
tell when the mental health hits you.
I
You
have
didn't
called
dates.
helpline in Inverness, and at the time, it said that we are not working on Mondays between this and that time,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
geez.
Yeah.
We
This is
had
a
the
good
conversation.
point.
So what
Yeah.
happens
This is a good
when
point,
someone
actually.
really needs help and
Yeah.
fucking struggles?
Because I think through the conversation now, right, that's been over an hour or whatever. We're through a tunnel now. We've got the understanding of where you've come from, right? We're starting to move on to, like, services and stuff like that now, aren't we? We're starting to look at the more positive, because we've done all the negative. So let's turn this into a bit more positive, right? It doesn't. I'm not trying to get away from that side of the story. I'm trying to get to the toilet because I'm bursting for a pee, and I'm sure the amount of coffee he's drunk and the water
I'm fine.
you've
I
drunk.
could have more coffee.
Aye.
Not than me.
I think get a fag, get a cigarette. I'll get the toilet. You can get a coffee. You can get the toilet if you need it. Let's come back into it for another however long it takes.
I don't know.
Yeah, a half hour of you telling us how do we get to you, because this is the hardest thing we find. How the fuck do they find us?
Yeah.
We have said, and we get curtain twitchers. They open the curtain and watch us and go away. But maybe it is because we're no females. Maybe they're still in that stigmatic place where, no, I'll be okay. I've just watched that podcast and it made me cry and it touched something in me, but I'm not ready to talk yet. Well, fuck off here. There's an option for you. Phone you, and you can then sell us how to get.
Sure.
Right,
Heal.
so I'll finish on that one, seeing as he's brought that up with the curtain twitchers. So, like Alan's saying with the curtain twitchers, I checked the analytics to this podcast and what we do. 30,000 people over 3 months have curtain twitched this podcast. 84% of the people that have looked at this podcast do not subscribe. They just curtain twitch and walk on by. We can only get better if you help us get better. Click like and subscribe.
In the basket.
And get it in the basket. Aye, right. Like, we'll no bother with the jingle. We'll pause. Let's pause and
Pause.
get,
Alright.
get a refresh. Aye, okay.
Jubbly bubbly.
Thanks.
That was good fun.
I could do that every day, to be honest, you know?
It's
I'm back. We're back in the room. I've had a pee. I didn't fall that time. Kasia had a coffee. Alan's had a coffee. We're back to finish off because that's a lot for you guys to sit and watch, take in, hear. I know that some of you will be reliving stuff that you've heard there, probably thinking about stuff that's similar and things like that. So as I said to Kasia now, for this last little bit that we're going to finish off with, it's let's go negative to positive. Let's take a positive path out of this podcast. We're going to do a little something on Kasia's form of therapy, but we're going to do that off camera, and I'm going to be the guinea pig for there because Claire said no, and Alan's want to record it in there for the Akashic record, he says. So, Kasia, to finish off, like Alan was saying at the end of that, where do people find you that want to reach out to you because they may have heard something today that rings a bell and they think maybe she's got my answer, or maybe she'll hear something that the monkey's no hearing, maybe she'll hear something that, you know, whatever therapist isn't hearing. How do they reach out to you?
Well, you can find me through my own website, which is soulconnectionswithkasia.com. You can find me on YouTube with the same name, Soul Connections with Kasia, or you can message me through my own Facebook, which is just Kasia Michalak.
That's a beauty.
Michalak. Yes, aye.
Try saying that drunk.
Yeah.
Or phone down the hill.
Or phone down the hill.
So I do individual sessions or as a package.
Right.
You pay for 3, and the 4th one is free.
Right. Okay. And as people have heard, that session, you come and go in that session, time-wise and stuff like that. You're no setting a timer and going, "Bush, that's you." But there is limits to.
Well, there is a sort of limit.
Yeah,
you know. Ideally around an hour, depending on your issue, on whether you have had therapy sessions, what type of sessions you have had. But I would say be prepared for minimum an hour.
Yeah.
It could be an hour and 20, could be an hour and a half. I'm quite flexible because it is important that you are not left with undone things. And it needs to be finished off. So I do care about you. You know?
Right. And is there a target, I hate to say this, is there a target audience? Because it could be anything or anyone. Do you shut the door at specifics, or are you open to anything? And I mean, like, not just trauma, childhood trauma, adult trauma, addiction. You know, is your toolkit full for open to everything?
With this therapy, you can work with anything.
Right. Okay.
I had a client which had issues with the liver. And I'm not a doctor, okay?
Right.
But as we all know, our emotions are being stored in our body. And if that is not healed, not processed, eventually we are going to feel pains or aches in our bodies.
Right.
So certain emotions may go to the liver, around the liver, or to different parts of the body. And after the session, one of my clients, she was 60, so she thought, and I didn't know that she was feeling some aches and pains. She thought, oh, I'm 60, so I meant to feel that way. Right. But after the session, she said, oh, my shoulders are not aching and my back feels more straight than it used to be. Right. And the following day, she actually blitzed her house because she had the strength to do it. So, but each therapy is going to work differently for you. Yeah. It all depends on your own process, your thought processing as well, and your body reacting to it.
And your availability to heal yourself.
And your exactly. Everyone is different, and every session is different.
Right. So someone's still using and things like that, if we go down an addiction route, so if they're still using, they can come and get the help at the same time, or would you prefer that they're through that barrier, then work on the rest, or we can do a spectrum?
The most important is
already,
whatever happens to you, whatever you go through your life, you need to start somewhere, and why not now?
Mm-hmm.
And right here.
Yeah.
I think
and we can take it from there.
Even somebody that's in the throes of addiction, to hear Kasia and then get in contact, to make that journey to say, right, I'm ready to open it up. Mm-hmm. Like I'm saying, once you address the elephant in the room, you find that the addiction has only been the avoidance tool for addressing the elephant. So if you've addressed the elephant, that should become easier to, because it's only the body that's going to crave it. The head is healed.
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, we're open to the whole.
I think so.
Full package.
I love the idea of the whole concept of what you do. That you've actually got up, it's running. You have tangible clients, and you have the sessions that you can reflect on and refer to, and how it's affected those people. Because we have individual cases, but they're not ready to talk yet. Yeah. Once that's up and running,
we've seen the results. We've seen
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is an amazing thing. You must just smile like you're doing now all the time. That the old woman's got up and she's got the ability to clean the shoulders. The pain's gone, the back's away, because they've unburdened this load that they've been carrying.
Yeah. And each session, or within each session I do for a client, there is some form of a healing for myself too.
Yeah. It's always going to be.
It's amazing. So I've got this gratitude that not only went through it myself and noticed that it helps so much, then now I've got the tools, I can actually be there for you if you are ready to take that step.
And that's the thing with the financial element. I'm going to Mike Spring it, you know what I mean? It pays for the website, it pays for advertising, it pays for Zoom calls, because, okay, you get a period of that free, so there has to be a cost element for this.
But it's that thing, as Kasia's already said.
Yeah.
How do you put a price on it, James? How do you price getting rid of a trauma that you have carried, and especially if it's downloaded for somebody else and you followed the same silly ass road?
And that's what I was getting.
Nobody's put you off the
There
path.
shouldn't be a price. It should be if you need, want, have the, what's the word? Just the want, the need to feel better, get rid of the elephant in the room.
Just to address it.
What does money matter then?
That's where the GPs, unfortunately, the NHS, the availability is not there. And when you're told that there's a 12-month waiting list for a referral, you're like, fuck off, mate. My head's not going to last 12 months. No, like you're saying, you're screaming internally. So if you take that one extra pill, that one extra bottle of wine, there's things can happen there that the body just goes, boom, shut down, game over. You're giving them that opportunity, that chance to say, look, no, we're only just starting. Let's fucking get the game on.
Yeah.
So I think we've kind of covered
fantastically
a fantastic amount. I think it's, for me, because I always finish this with a parting comment, and usually I go last, but I'm going to go first this time.
Oh.
And I really, for me, Kasia, the fact that you're such a similar being to him, with such a similar approach, sounding very similar, he's admitted it himself. Yous are both different. Then you get, both very different, but very similar. You come from a similar look at this. So for me, thank you for searching us out. Thank you for coming, making the effort to come all the way down here during storm, high cyclone, UV1 or whatever the hell it's called, and coming down here risking those 49 mile an hour winds and red wee bits and pink bits and orange bits. So thank you very much for coming out, and I can't wait to now get onto your YouTube and start stalking you a little to see what it's all about, and I have to get something at the end of this, a little therapy that we're not going to put out. That's for you to go to Kasia and sort. Kasia, over to you. Unless you would like to go first.
No, the only point I would like to make is a wee humorous thing. It's the way that the Polish accent can describe a hurricane, because it sounded like Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
That's a football player. Harry, he's out there in Inverness. You drove past him and left him in the street. I'm fascinated as well. You've got me hook, line and sinker with it, because you actually speak in a tone that I didn't do that. I'm quite harsh with it in that extent, but you soften it.
Yeah.
But it's still the same fucking thing, and the end purpose is the same. I know, and it's where in the podcast prior, I would say it becomes a perversion, because if you never went through and survived what you did, you wouldn't be sat there. It's weird, but that's who we are. So I'm delighted to have met you as well.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
So for you, it's your parting comment. That red dot, it's on you. So you can talk directly to whoever's watching.
So when you have appeared on my Facebook, I didn't know anything about your background and nor yours. And as I was saying earlier on, the energies attract the same energies, So that's the living proof.
Good.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're the testimony that what you're offering, the service you're offering, it fucking works.
It works.
Yeah.
Good.
You
Good
know?
enough for me. I know it works. He knows it works, because we've done it on each other. To meet a third party, boom.
Yeah.
It's a
There is
trinity.
no-
See,
no
fucking stars
coincidence.
last
It's the 3
night.
stars for last night.
I looked up last
The
night.
alignment.
Boom, boom, boom.
Alignment.
Yeah. Mental. I'll no bother with that jingle, Claire, but we'll play it with the Just Another Monkey thing. If you hit
Oh.
that. Yeah. I don't know what one it was. You pressed it earlier. Try it and see what
I
happens.
could sing it.
The Fly Fifer and Just Another
Bingo.
Monkey
Bingo.
podcast. Talk is cheap. Let's talk.
Wow. Lovely.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
No, thank you.
Good.